everybody. This is Patrick Driggett bringing you BS of the Week. That's right, in our last video, we told you that we were going to be off for a couple of weeks, but my plans got changed because of the weather here, and I'm here bringing you the BS of the Week by myself. We're going to talk about the Week 10 results and also what the playoffs look like now that all of the regular season games are done. I'll be missing my friend Kev, who generally is with me, and he's spending time with his family. But here we are. We're going to talk a little bit about the Big Sky results for BS of the Week. I'm the coach of the Berlin Fire. I think everybody probably knows that. We did not make the playoffs, but that's something I expected. I think most people probably expected that wouldn't happen this season. Hopefully next season I'll get there. So let's talk about Week 10 results. First, the LFC. The Sharks played the Fire. They beat us 31-10. It was pretty expected. The Sharks were a really strong team, and with that, they were probably looking to not have to play a wildcard game. So good for them. Knights 31, 66ers 27. Really close game. Irish lost to the Statesmen in another close game, 20-23. The Massive win 20-9 against the Sun Devils. The Buccaneers lose 21-39 against the very strong Phoenix. The Rushmores, congrats Kev, win another one, 23-15, so right at the end of the season. Good job for you. And then the Rhinos, 45 against the Patriots, 40. Really a lot of exciting games there. And the Giant Hornets win 51-33 against the Super Weasels, so nice high-scoring affair there. So had some really exciting games this week in the LFC. In the PFC, the Packers beat the Rough Riders 23-13, probably an expected win there. The Rapiers 41-14 against the Titans, so really convincing win there for my friend Phil. In a unsurprising game, the Maroons win 49-0 against the Devils. So wasn't super shocking, but pretty big scoring numbers there from the Maroons. In a very exciting game, the Surfers won 20-3 against the Eagles, which the Eagles have been doing a really good job. So, for the Gary coming out, really coming in with a good game plan to top the Eagles there and hold them to only 3. The Bulldogs won 55-27 against the Bombers. I think the only surprising thing there is the Bombers putting up 27, but the Bulldogs came out, scored high, and won the game there. The Stormers barely hold on, 20-17 against the Chargers. The Huskies lose 13-58 against the Generals, who are making a big push to try to regain the division from the Rapiers. And then the Warriors scored 7 to the Rivets 59. Not super shocking result there either. The Rivets look to solidify yet another perfect season. So, game of the week. Well, a couple of honorable mentions. Chargers, Stormers, absolutely crazy game. Chris Weeks just put in a good show there against the Stormers, and honestly, in the first half, they were dominating. But the Stormers, finally won, but really held it close, and there were some playoff implications because of that as well. Also, the Rhinos at Patriots was a super high-scoring game, pretty exciting thing to watch, so go ahead and read that play-by-play if you would like. I think it was a good one. But my game of the week is the Statesmen and Irish. The Statesmen won in overtime against the Irish. The Statesmen did all the scoring early, and at 35 minutes, they were actually up 17-0. But by the end of the third quarter, the Irish had rallied. They brought the game to 10-20 and made it a 2-score game after returning a 97-yard kickoff for a touchdown. And then, at 59 minutes and 20 seconds, Livingston intercepts a medium pass, brings it all the way to the opponent 18, and then the Irish are able to score, and they scored after being put in 3rd and 10 and still converting to get a first down and goal. And that was at 10 seconds left in regulation. They tied it up. The Irish win the toss for overtime to get possession, but unfortunately that's where their luck ran out as they had to punt after a quick 4-and-out and then the Statesmen just did what they needed to do to get into field goal range and put the game away. Convincing win there. But holy moly, that was an exciting one. Really a joy to watch. So, what does that mean for the playoffs? So, let's see here. Let me show this here. Well, first let me just talk about it. Sorry. So, the Sharks in the LFC, the Sharks and the Giant Hornets secured their divisional round spots, avoiding the wild card. The Knights won in Week 10 and held off the Rhinos by keeping the point differential close in their games in Week 10. But with the Rhinos also winning, they sneak into the wild card. The biggest news out of all of this was the late. There was a bug. I think we saw it in other leagues as well. But basically, the Super Weasels, who had a crazy high point differential, positive point differential, I think it was like 96, but they had lost too many divisional games. That put them in third, which is in the tiebreaker. Your divisional placement counts before your point differential, and so what that did is that gave the Massive their spot, and the Weasels were out, and so that has been corrected. So the Massive will be in there. And so in the wildcard round, what you'll see here, let me see if I click over here. So you see the Statesmen at the Knights and the Massive at the Phoenix. So basically, in Week 8, the visiting Statesmen won a really close one against the Knights. But now, the Knights are going to have a sold-out crowd. It's playoff time. Can they pump up the crowd enough to pull off the win against the Statesmen? We'll see. That'll be a really exciting one. The Massive at Phoenix, well, the Phoenix haven't played the Massive this season, but they're 9-1. They've been incredibly strong, and it kind of is theirs to lose. So I don't see a lot of surprises coming out of that game, but we'll see. Any given Sunday, right? Or Friday in our case. So over to the PFC, the Rapiers held on to clinch the division. Give me a second. I just need to adjust the screen here. Show the rest of these games. So yeah, the Rapiers held on to clinch the division as Alex's Generals built their point differential due to playing against the super underpowered Huskies. And so with that strong differential, though, the Generals secured the first wildcard slot. The interesting thing that happened, though, is the Surfers and Stormers were neck and neck. And the Stormers were actually leading in Week 9 in the point differential against the Surfers. But the Surfers were up to the challenge. They held those very strong Eagles to only 3 points, and they ended up bypassing the Stormers, who only barely won a very close game against the Chargers, and that cost them. What happened is the Surfers in Week 9 had 61 points. The Stormers had 64 on their differential, but the Surfers ended up jumping 78 to 67. Just based off of their convincing win. So really strong performance there from the Surfers for Gary to get in there. And unfortunately, that means the Stormers are out and don't make it to the playoffs because of that. So that was a really crazy kind of end of the season there. So as you can see here on the screen, the Generals are at the Rapiers. This should be a super battle. This is their third game in 6 weeks. They split those games in the regular season. Did the home game help the Rapiers this time? I think that'll be something that we'll see in this Friday. Also, we have the Surfers at the Eagles. This is a repeat of last week, and we just heard about that game. Does the score look the same, or is it a New York Giants Patriots situation where they play at the end of the regular season and then the playoffs it gets turned around? This time we're at the Eagles' house. Let's see what happens there. So yeah, that's what's happening there. Just wanted to give a quick episode out here for BS of the week. Thought we'd be gone because of the holiday, but because my plans changed, here I am giving you a quick dump of what happened in Week 10 and what's happening in the playoffs now. So exciting time, and hopefully I'll be back next week. Talk to you all soon. Have a happy holiday, happy new year.